We all experience FOMO. The fear of missing out is very deeply felt, and it's so uncomfortable whenever we're in those moments. For me, it feels like a lost moment, a lost opportunity. And what happens when I feel like I've missed out, I sort of feel this creeping doubt within myself, like a reminder that I don't make good decisions for myself or something like that. And I think it feels really uncomfortable for us because we are faced in that moment with this knowing that something great and fun and some opportunity occurred and we were not there. And really life and the world move on without us. And while there's a lot of jokes and memes and, we all sort of roll our eyes and it's like, oh yeah, I had FOMO, I decided to actually sit with this. So I did a technology fast, and I do them quite frequently for shorter times in the weeks and the days. Every time I notice myself getting overly interested in what my phone is doing and not enough, I'm distracting myself. So this technology fast, I did this in the winter time, so several months ago. And what it was 24 hours. I think I picked Saturday evening to Sunday evening. And I turned my phone off. So not on airplane mode, hard off. And, I had checked in with people before, to talk to my parents for the weekend. If I didn't actually have a lot of plans, it was this deep winter's day, nothing really was going on. And that's when I decided to do this. So I knew that for the most part, no one would be contacting me. So I was so happy with this decision. I was going to get really empowered. And so my phone was, hard turned off. My laptop was shut down, switched off, nothing. And so I remember whatever, it was 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. or whatever. And I was like, this is great. And I was really empowered. And I sat with a singing bowl and sort of chants and prayers and all of this stuff. And my first thought was, I should put on some lovely music, but I couldn't because Spotify is on my phone and my laptop. And so I was like, okay, never mind. And so then I started puttering around in the kitchen, tidying up, cleaning a little bit. And I kept hearing my phone buzz like a crazy person. And so I'd go and I'd look at my phone and it was off. And so this happened. And, luckily I started in the evenings, then I went to bed and then I woke up and I was like, I really want to hear this song. And then off I went again to find my phone and, oh, right, it's off. I'm doing this technology fast. And so I started, making breakfast, humming, singing, just finding little ways to entertain myself. And then I started thinking about what other people might be doing. And suddenly this massive list of everyone I needed to reach out to in this moment started showing up, like, oh, I haven't talked to this friend in a long time. Oh, I wonder what that person's doing. Oh, I didn't finish that thing at work that I was supposed to finish. I should totally go do that. And, it was really funny. FOMO comes in waves, right? Like if you've ever done a fast, whether it's a food fast or like me, like a technology fast, you're fine. And then suddenly you're not fine. And like you start panicking and you're like, well, what if there's an emergency and someone's trying to get in touch with me and all your emotions kind of rise. And that's actually, I think, the real medicine with fasting. You get to see what rises. And so for me, it was this idea around self and other and all of the conscious, unconscious belief systems, patterns, how I use technology to distract myself. Just a ton of things rose up. And it's so interesting to watch yourself get into this negotiation with your own self and sort of grovel we often associate this with, teens when they're trying to negotiate with their parents. Like, I want a new smartphone, or this is the first time, like, I want a smartphone. All my friends have it. And there are these negotiation tactics. And to, as an adult, sit, and this happened during I don't know, halfway through the technology fast. I was like, okay, well, what if I just turned on my phone just for like 10 minutes, just to see if anyone messaged me? And then, my stronger sense of integrity was like, no, this is a technology fast. We will turn it on at 8 p.m. Well, what if that person needs something? What if my parents need something? But I really, music is for the spirit. And I just really want to listen to music. And you watch yourself grovel within yourself. It's so entertaining. I really held so much appreciation for tweens and teenagers, because I witnessed myself doing it. It's a real power struggle, but in this case, there was no one else. So it's really my own inner power struggle. And isn't that an interesting thing? This is actually what lives within me when technology and phones and all this extra stuff is taken away. It revealed to me that there was this fight for dominance, I guess, within the self. And so underneath the FOMO, I think I figured out that the reason there's this fight, this power struggle, is because it's these two strong forces and they're just sort of vying for dominance, right? Like, why does anyone go to war? You believe something, they believe something else, and then you just, you sort of try and one up each other, or you push, pull, and you fight each other, and you hopefully come to a place of resolution, hopefully. So why was this happening within me? And when I actually prayed about it and sat with it and tried to witness and meditate, lots of thoughts and feelings came up. For me, it ended up being the root of trust. Some part of myself didn't trust something and then felt the need to fight these other parts of myself, like when your heart fights your head, or if you really love to eat something but you are allergic to it. So in that moment, your heart is fighting your gut, your belly. And so I actually really had to sit with this. Why didn't I trust myself? Like, what was going on here? Like, why am I at war with the self? And there's a lot of, when you actually sit with what mistrust feels like, it is horrible. It feels like betrayal. It feels like knots in your stomach. It feels like your entire musculature tenses up. You don't feel free. You don't feel allowed. And, socially, we feel left out. We feel like, oh, we're not important. Life went on without us. Everyone had a great time and we weren't there. So it really does a number on the self. And like food, water, safety, security, humans have a visceral and innate and a deep need to belong. We are social mammals. And so this is not just, oh, I got left out. It's like an egoic thing. This is actually a need that is not getting fulfilled. And that's when I realized my issues with trust within the self came from this place where I was denying some of my needs. And it feels a lot of times like one part of us is fighting against another part. But really, I finally got to a point where I was, I think, more than halfway done this technology fast, and there was something I was missing. And what it finally came to was the space of choice, right? We are fighting, like our head is fighting with our heart. We're fighting with our people, our loved ones, our family, maybe our boss. Your heart is fighting with your stomach, whatever the reason is. Well, what if you took these two these powerful forces, and instead of pitting them against each other, what if they didn't fight? What if they worked together? What if we were to accept what feels opposing in the moment, but it's actually here to help us relax into ourselves, to help us accept what truly is in the moment. So if one part of me wants to do this, okay. And another part of me wants to do this other thing. All right. Both these live within me, within this form, within these thought structures together. It's really not a place of both. It's really not a place of either or. It's actually a place of both and. And that both andness, that acceptance that sometimes, many times, we have opposing desires. To me, that's very deeply human. And so to choose to look at something as opposing or as different sides of the same coin. If you're tossing a coin, heads is not fighting with tails, it's just two sides of the same thing. So can we embody that perspective here? So the part of me that wanted very badly to check my phone because I had, mistrust and fears and all of the stuff. And then the part of me that knew I was doing this for a much bigger reason, but I didn't really know what the reason was. I did actually have to finally come to a place where I gave up. I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna sit on the floor. I sat in like a lotus position with my hands open, and I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And that's when that whole both andness came up. So choice here becomes very interesting, and then it becomes empowering. So in the FOMO situation, if you were presented with a choice, someone invited you to go out with them for dinner, and what you really wanted, what you really needed in the moment was to stay at home, clean your house because it's so messy and it's been getting on your nerves, and take a bath and just have a me day. That decision is not a right or wrong. And I think that was a big thing for me. When I experience FOMO, it's because unconsciously I have decided that there's a right and a wrong option. And I feel shaky in trust in myself because I have to always choose the right one, because who wants to choose the wrong option? But what if this isn't about that? What if choice is about figuring out what's right in the moment? In the moment where I might need my own space, my own time, the perfect option for me is to graciously decline my friend's invitation and stay home. But what if I really wanted to go out? Then the right option becomes taking that invitation, going out with that friend. It seems really simple in a way, but we overcomplicate things in our minds, and then we experience things like FOMO. And so back to my technology experience, I think what I realized is that there was one part of me that wanted to go through this technology fast to see what was happening in my nerves. Why am I reacting to things the way I'm reacting? Why am I reacting to text messages? Why am I hearing the phone buzzing when the phone is off? What is happening? And my desire to want to be distracted, want to suddenly reach out to people, and that conflict, that push-pull, that conflict, they both existed within me. And so I learned that this is part of the way we accept what is. And fasts are really interesting, whether you do a technology fast or a food fast, because what a fast actually does is it strips away the things that we're maybe used to, the things that help us, that encourage us into complacency. We do the same thing all the time. It's routine. Now, all that's stripped away. Now, who are you? Who are you without our masks and our facades? And that to me is the medicine of fasting. And like food fasting is something I personally really enjoy doing. And my sweet spot is intermittent fasting. But I know tons of people who do, 1 to 3 day long fasts. They do water fasts. They do fruit fasts and if someone's cutting down sugar or smoking or alcohol, all that I consider fasting. There's no one size that fits all. One medicine does not work for everyone. And really that's sort of the joy. We all get to explore. We all get to have this experience of things, and we figure out what works for us. And so once we figure out what works for us, we may find that this FOMO that we feel, this like doubt, this unsurety, this mistrust, this, oh, I said no, but I actually wanted to go. And, really owning our yeses, owning our nos, all of that becomes much more available to play with, to use, and to bring to our choices and our decisions. Once we establish a sense of mastery over our nervous system, over our choices, over our decisions. And once we start to learn to accept that things are exactly as they are in this moment, and then you sort of look and align your inner, your thoughts, desires, your inner constitution with that of the outer world. You might have a plan for a most glorious picnic with your friends, but if it's thunderstorming outside, that's your negotiation between your inner environment and your external environment. And it's very common in those moments to get so angry at the weather. And again, there are so many other options, right? Like we get into this FOMO, this blame, it's that person's fault, it's the weather's fault, it's, this, that, or the other person, politician, your boss's boss, all of this other stuff. But blame is so disempowering. There are a few things as disempowering as blame. And so we have this, FOMO, blame, not taking ownership, not really trusting yourself, like trifecta that is really not fun. It's not great. It does not feel good. It does not feel exciting, inviting, invigorating. It does not feel like a life's journey. It does not feel like an adventure. It doesn't even feel pleasant. So my technology fast ended, quite well. I mean, after all of these like bumps and issues that I had. And I remember when I finally did turn on my phone, I had a couple messages and I was a lot happier to receive, random messages from whoever messaged me at the time. And it was really nice. It was nice to take some time away and then return to something and find the truth of love and excitement, of joy, of connection. And it's the same with food as well. Like whether you fast or not is, up to you, up to your body, your health, your system, that part's fine. Everyone should do what works for them. But that first meal that you take after you fasted, even if it's for a short time, like a day or so, it really like your mouth starts to water and your entire digestive system is now more open to receiving. Like it's done its detoxification, it's done its clearing, it's released a lot of stuff. Your entire system is a lot clearer, and now we are receiving food. And it's an interesting thing with fasts sometimes because people get really stuck on not wanting to do a fast because they feel like they're missing out, right? But I don't think that's like spiritually, I don't think that's what fasts were. It's about allowing yourself to become empty so that you can fill yourself with the new, so that you can fill yourself with new ideas, new thoughts, new perceptions, so that your blood, your digestive system has an opportunity to cleanse itself, so that your liver can kick into action, your gallbladder can kick into action and start to clean, cleanse. You are releasing so that you receive more, so that you receive what is different, so that you receive new things that are aligned, that help you. And so if you are someone who's contemplating a technology fast, or if you're, there's an addiction that you're trying to get rid of something, or you're doing the food fast, focus, especially, and this is so important, especially in those moments where we're like, oh, I'm just gonna like eat that chip, or, whatever it is, when we're trying to negotiate our way out of our fast. Focus on what you are getting. Focus on what you are receiving. You are receiving self-intimacy. You are receiving a big release. Why would anyone want to carry the emotional, the mental, the physical burdens of the day before and of your entire past life, the life that you have lived so far? Why would anyone want to do that? It is a gift to start to release some of that. And fasts get really, food fasts get really emotional for people. Well, technology fasts are emotional for me, but you get to see what kind of emotions you're just quietly carrying and you're walking with, and you are so burdened emotionally by all of this stuff. You don't get to see it normally. So when you allow yourself this time to release, sort of like spring cleaning, right? Like, why do we bother cleaning our house? It's just going to get dirty the next day. We don't think like that. Well, hopefully we don't think like that. But we do this cleanse because we do not want to A, live in filth, and B, we do not want the cleaning to get so out of control, overwhelming that we have to call in a cleaning service now. So we do our weekly or our daily sweeping, dusting, all of the stuff. It's the same with the body. It is the same with the soul. It's the same with the spirit. It's the same with the mind. It's the same with your bedroom and your workspace and your home. It is the exact same thing. So the offer here is, whenever you experience a FOMO moment, or you're a little bit overwhelmed by choices that you have, big or small, open yourself, if you can, to the idea that there is something for you there, that there is empowerment, there is trust, there is an ability to hold the moment exactly how it is, and to come into greater acceptance of self, of other, of life for a second. And then from that place, much more of our path unfolds. Have a great day.